到位。其实很多人呢，提起卡塔尔都会觉得他们就是有钱任性，但其实当你来到这个国家，你很容易就能感受到他们每天在想的是怎么样用现在手里的这些财富跟资源去换来一个更长久的发展。就比如说呢，他们在整个社区、科研和教育领域的投入是非常巨大的。在卡塔尔的境内呢，有一个国家发展规划局，这个国家发展规划局里面呢，其实就罗列了各种学科跟分类当中的顶尖的人才跟学科。那么他们会分析在未来10年卡塔尔经济发展当中究竟最需要什么，然后在这个专业当中呢，跟全球医疗
established by QF 10 years ago under the leadership of Caixin Media. The idea then was to create a global platform for education where the world could have debates, discussions, and forge partnerships and collective action towards addressing some of the main challenges and focusing on what makes us distinctively human as sort of foundation for discussing the role of education and how that role needs to adapt to a world that is changing very, very quickly. So what I hope people will get out of the coming 2 days in the conference is exposure to a broad range of ideas and topics.
万斯每年会评选出年度的万斯奖，这个奖项被誉为是教育界的诺贝尔奖。从2009年以来，有来自150多个国家的超过3700个项目参与角逐万斯的教育项目奖，但每年只有6个教育项目能够斩获这个荣誉。2018年，中国发展研究基金会发起的山村幼儿园计划就在获奖名单之中，这也是中国首次获万斯奖的项目。万斯奖除了会颁发给一些杰出的教育项目之外，同时呢，能够奖励每一年为教育做出世界级贡献的人才。就比如说呢，在上一届的获奖者就是这个奥瓦博士，他用了短短10几年的时间呢，就把自己所打造的这个阿图斯大学打造成了加纳首屈一指的这个大学教育平台。而今年的获奖者呢，在某种程度上可以说呢是更特别一些。他是拉里·罗森斯托克2019年万斯教育奖的个人得主。他在美国的圣地亚哥创办了一所神奇的学校，名字叫做 High Tech High 高科技高中。在这所学校里，学生们通过开展不同的项目来学习，不以分数论成败，而他的大学录取率却能够高达98%。与此同时，全美的平均水平也才不到70%。
My life in education has been dedicated to bringing together students and putting them in forms of education that most people assume should be separated. Students from all backgrounds and perceived abilities and technical education people in San Diego who wanted to bring in a broader spectrum of have-nots into the tech sector, and they had an idea that maybe they should create a school called High Tech High School, and I said, I would love to try that, but can I take the word school off it? And they said, sure. That's how High Tech High got started.
High Tech High 至今呢已经有将近20年的历史，从一家小型的公立特许学校开始，如今呢它已经发展成为由16所特许学校组成的综合网络，覆盖4个校区，约5780名 K12年级的学生。那么抛开升学率，就项目制学习本身而言，学生们又取得了什么样的成果呢？根据学校的统计，至今呢学生们已经产出了超过1000个高质量产品，其中呢包括1部获奖影片、几项发明专利和200多本的出版图书。素质教育并不仅仅属于精英阶层，在这所免收学费的学校里，有72%的学生是有色族裔，13%的学生有特殊需求，有1半的学生来自贫困家庭。在招生的时候， High Tech High 会通过邮政号码分区，在各区随机的抽选招生学生，这样呢，来自不同社会经济背景的学生就有了平等的入学机会。但是如果回过头来看，无论是在中国还是在美国，大学入学考试仍然是主流的上升通道。在遍地的分数中心论之中， High Tech High 的项目制教学还显得十分的离经叛道。在这样的一个离经叛道的学校，素质教育和应试教育究竟如何能够实现双赢？关于 High Tech High， 我有很多的疑问。在万斯大会上，我把这些问题抛给了前一天刚刚领完奖的罗森斯托克。
And what we wanted students to do was, much as I was talking about at the academy, is of course understand what's going on in the world. Of course, English, history, math, science, all the things that you need to do to get into top colleges. And we want them to also create new knowledge, and that's why our students have published so many books, have invented so many things.
Yeah. So how could you actually balance the percentage of different courses? Because the constructive traditional courses versus the PBL right now is 3-7, I guess. How did you decide?
Well, sometimes you do courses quite directly. I mean, it's not all in projects. I think that would make no sense. To get into a college in the United States, you have to do 2 things. You have to have a college statement, and you have to have done well in English, history, math, and science. We have to honor those 4 subjects. It's an obligation. But there's a lot of creativity that you could do. So, for example, the students that are sending up rockets, they're about this tall, and they love doing them. They come in early in the morning. They don't even want to go home at night. And they're equally females and males. And the rockets that they're sending up right now are 2% shy of breaking the sound barrier. And what they're really trying to do is break the sound barrier. Yeah. So that's an example. When you're doing something right now, okay, what were the courses that you took in high school that made you be able to do this? Well, they were, but they weren't. But what you're doing is something that's extremely professional. What these other people with these cameras are doing are extremely professional. So what you want to do is have them learn the basics and make use of devices to create new knowledge.
When you talk about PBL, project-based learning, which means that's an innovation, but that's on unstandardized courses, which means that it may be hard to copy.
Sometimes it is a little bit, but then you just do direct instruction sometimes too. I think for anybody in your country who's listening to me speaking right now, I would say to them, how often in your career, in your work, whatever, medicine, pick it, building construction, finance, do you go through the process of observation, reflection, documentation, and exhibition? It's not this odd new invention, really. It's really the way most of us function, but we don't think about it in schools. That's all. We're just trying to take that structure, which is so necessary, and just meld it into the top subjects in our country: English, history, math, and science. That's all it is. It's not as different as people might think. What is different is when you come in and you see all of the work and inventions that students have created.
Teachers also play a very important role.
Yeah.
But how you
Prepare them?
how you prepare them and how you judge their performance.
Okay, we judge their performance by the quality of the work that students do. That's very, very easy. We have a big public exhibition 4 or 5 times a year. That would mean that you might come in that evening because you have a child in the school, and you would be there for a few hours. And sometimes it's a voice where the child wrote a book and is reading it or talking about and explaining something that they did. It's not always making things that are physical. Sometimes it's doing things that are intellectual. Now, the point is that when a new teacher is learning how to do this and is wondering why no one's looking at their work that much, but we're not making them feel bad. They're making themselves feel bad. They're feeling a little bit embarrassed. So the motivation for sophisticated work, we're trying to make it come from the inside out, not from us, from the top down, but from the bottom up. So they feel the pleasure and satisfaction of having their students describe very complicated things.
I know you don't want to mention too much about the transfer credits to the college,
Right.
but actually your students get a higher enrollment rate when they take this
How do they do?
Yeah, how do they?
Well, there's a few things about college admissions in the United States. One of them is if you're a college admissions officer, for example, basically every application has to be read twice. Okay, so let's say you're a reader and let's say I'm a reader. Okay, so do you know how many we have to read in the spring? A lot. It's like an investment firm. Okay, so now over a period of time they said, wow, the people that you referred did better than the ones that I referred. So you're a better investor than I am. Okay, that's how complex it has become. Essentially, if a child comes from that school in China or in the United States compared to that school, then they say, well, the students that came from that school before really did well. So that transcript really means something. Oh, the students that came from that other school, their transcript was very high, but the students that came from there aren't doing as well as their transcript suggests. So now it's not just the transcript, it's the data. It's like an investment firm. So now they have all of this massive data. It was an unintended consequence. And I save, college statement has to be written. In fact, my favorite, I have a collection in over 40 years of the best college statements that ever were written for me. It's a young woman who was Chinese who wrote the very best one. And every time I show it to anybody, and every college wanted her because of what she was able to write. So one thing when Haitakai was beginning, in the 9th grade, I had students, I would sit down